Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. As part of the legislative process, I'm reminded that no matter how much we disagree, we should all be here for a common purpose, and that is to serve our countrymen. Of course, it's not without its challenges. Lahat gustong makuha ang pinakamataas na marka para sa kanilang sektor, pero kailangan din nating tiyakin na sapat para matugunan ang mga tunay na pangangailangan ng bansa. Today, we will make those tough decisions. But let's not forget, this is also a time for cooperation and compromise. Lahat tayo ay kumakatawan sa iba't ibang pananaw, interes at mga nasasakupan. But let our differences become our strength. Let's use them to create a budget that's balanced, equitable, and pro-people. My only plea is for us conferees not to take ourselves too seriously. Kung sobrang init na ang diskusyon, baka kailangan natin mag-coffee break to settle our differences, if and when it comes to that. Lastly, I want to thank everyone here, from the members of both chambers to our hardworking staff who have been burning the midnight oil to get us to this point. Your dedication and professionalism keep this process running. And to our colleagues on the other side of the table, let me say this: kahit minsan magkaiba tayo ng opinion, I have nothing but respect also for the work that you have done for us to reach this day. Mukhang marami pa tayong trabaho, pero malapit na rin ang Pasko, so let's get to it, let's debate, let's deliberate and decide, but always keeping in mind the millions of Filipinos counting on us to get this right. Maraming salamat po.
Distinguished colleagues, esteemed members of the House and the Senate, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. It's an honor to solemn and solemn responsibility to stand before you today as chairman of the House contingent in the Bicameral Conference Committee. We are here to deliberate on the disagreeing provisions of House Bill number 10800 or the 2025 General Appropriations Bill. This budget is the lifeblood of our nation. It enables the government to operate effectively and deliver essential services to the Filipino people. It also guarantees that last year's progress will continue as envisioned in the administration's 8-point socio-economic agenda to bring down the poverty rate to a single digit and elevate the country's status as an upper middle income economy. The official poverty statistics for 2023 show a compelling narrative of progress. Poverty incidence has fallen to 15.5%, a significant improvement from 18.1% in 2021. This means 2.45 million Filipinos were lifted out of poverty in the last 2 years. Likewise, the number of food-poor individuals struggling to meet even their most basic needs declined to 4.484 million in 2023 from 6.5 million in 2021. These figures speak loudly of the changes in the lives of many poor Filipinos. They are direct beneficiaries of the initiatives and socio-economic programs we supported in this budget. They represent lives changed, families given hope, and communities strengthened. By continuing the socio-economic programs in infrastructure investment in this budget, we will profoundly impact every Filipino battling inflation and impact of calamities brought by climate change. More importantly, this budget will bring hope and optimism to vulnerable sectors that look to us for a leadership support. As we move forward, let us find ways to reconcile our differences and ensure that our efforts align with the programs and priorities of the present administration. Let us seize this opportunity to shape the legacy of our collective work, one that reflects our shared commitment to build a stronger, more equitable, more resilient Philippines. Let us approach this deliberation with a spirit of unity, driven by our responsibility to those who place their trust in us. Thank you, and may our discussions be fruitful and guided by wisdom.
There being no other opening remarks from our conferees, we now move to the deliberations, discussions on the disagreeing votes on House Bill number 10800. On the part of the Senate, we would like to open the deliberations and discussions on the general appropriations measure. May we know if there are comments from our colleagues?
Madam Chair, if I may be recognized.
Senator Joel Villanueva is now recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you always say, we are governed by rules, procedures, and traditions. And as tradition dictates, Madam Chair, to resolve the disagreeing votes on House Bill number 10800, may I respectfully move that a technical working group be constituted, composed of the technical staff from the Senate Committee on Finance and the House Committee on Appropriations, to identify and clarify the areas of disagreement on this particular measure, House Bill number 10800, for the consideration and discussion of the members of the Bicameral Conference Committee. I so move, Madam Chair.
I second.
Senator Tolentino seconds the motion. There is a motion which was duly seconded. There being no objection, the motion is approved on the part of the Senate.
On the part of the House, is there any motion? Yeah, on the part of the House, is there any motion or comment from the, or objection? Okay. On the part of the House, we join the Senate to open the deliberations and discussions on the general appropriations measure. May we know if there are comments for our colleagues?
Mr. Chairman, may I please be recognized? Mr. Chairman, on the part of the House, I move that we adopt the same motion of the Senate panel to constitute a technical working group composed of the Committee on Appropriations officials. I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Is a motion? Is approved.
So there's a motion which was duly seconded. There being no objection, the motion is approved. Thank you very much, Your Honor, our dear colleagues, for the trust you have placed in Chairman Ko and myself. We will make every effort to fulfill our responsibilities to the best of our ability.
Chairperson, what's the implication?
Senator
yes,
Coco Pimentel is recognized.
What's the implication of the last statement of our chairperson? We just formed a TWG, right?
Yes,
are
we
we,
do.
Are
With
we reconvening as panels all again after the matrix is done?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I want to know. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Senator Risa is recognized.
Salamat, Madam Chair. Dagdag po dun sa kinlarify ni Minority Leader of the Senate. So, ibig pong sabihin, pagkatapos buuin ng Joint Technical Working Group natin ng House, ay pag-aaralan ulit natin full panel to full panel yung disagreeing provisions. Tama po ba, Madam Chair?
Yes, there are a
Alright,
few,
salamat
just a
po.
few disagreeing provisions, and it's good that we can work it together with the technical working group.
Salamat po, Madam Chair.
Okay?
Madam Chair?
Senator
Madam
Bato
Chair.
de la Rosa is recognized.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. May I respectfully manifest that after this, before we sign the Bicam report, please give us enough time to read over again and check for everything, Madam Chair, before we sign. Para hindi tayo magmukhang tanga after signing, Madam Chair.
Yes, Senator De La Rosa, this has been the commitment of your Chairman of Finance as well as our Senate President. So you will be given, all of us will be given ample time to review the final version before we sign.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, may I recognize Senate President Francis Escudero or Senator Speaker Martin Romualdez for any remarks?
We are deeply honored to be graced by the presence of our distinguished Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Honorable Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez. His steadfast leadership and unwavering commitment to the principles of good governance have guided us in our collective mission to serve the Filipino people. As we convene this Bicameral Conference Committee, it is a privilege to invite our Speaker to deliver his message and share his wisdom as we buckle up for work to finalize the fiscal year 2025 General Appropriations Bill. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished colleagues, let us warmly welcome the Honorable Speaker Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez. Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon to my esteemed colleagues at the Senate, led by the Senate President, Senator Francis Chis Escudero, Senator Jinggoy Estrada, Senate President Pro Tempore, and of course, Chairperson of the Senate panel, Senator Grace Mo. To my fellow colleagues from the House of Representatives, partners in public service, today, we're here to iron out the differences between our both houses' versions of the 2025 General Appropriations Bill, a budget that has the power to either improve or disrupt the lives of millions of Filipinos. This is no ordinary task. We are not just crunching numbers. We're crafting solutions to real problems faced by real people every single day. In the House, we've worked hard to ensure that our version of the budget reflects the priorities of the Filipino people. We focus on what's urgent, keeping food prices down, creating jobs, making healthcare accessible, improving education, and ensuring disaster preparedness. I'm sure our counterparts in the Senate share these same ideals and goals. So now it's up to us in this BICAM to bridge the gaps, not just between the House and the Senate, but more importantly, between our people need, what our people need and what we can deliver. This is where we prove that we're capable of working together, not just as representatives of our respective chambers, but as leaders who genuinely care about the future of our country. We may have different approaches, but the outcome must be the same. A budget that works for everyone, from farmers in the rural provinces to workers in the urban centers, from small business owners to young students dreaming of a better life. Let's keep things practical and straightforward. We don't need to overcomplicate this. Let's focus on what will make the biggest difference for the Filipino people. The programs that matter, the services that they rely on, and the investments that will move this country forward, those should be non-negotiable. We're all here because we've been trusted with a responsibility. Let's live up to that trust. Let's have honest, productive discussions. Let's find the common ground that puts the people first. We owe it to every Filipino who wakes up every day trying to make ends meet, hoping that their government has their back. Let's give them a budget that says, yes, we hear you. Yes, we care. And we're doing something about it. I know we can get this done, and I know we can do it right. So let's get to work. Thank you, and good day.
I would like to recognize our Senate President, Senator Cheese Escudero, to give his closing remarks.
Speaker Martin, Senate President Pro Tem Jinggoy, Majority Leader Francis, and Chairman Grace, and members of the Senate panel, Chairperson Zaldi, and members of the House panel, Majority Leader Manix, isa po maganda at pinagpalang hapon sa ating lahat. It has been said, governance is about allocating scarce resources. If we are able to allocate scarce resources, then that means we govern properly. Ito marahil ang dahilan kung bakit sinasabi nila na ang pinakamahalaga at importanteng panukalang batas na pinapasa ng anumang Kongreso ay ang taunang budget para sa darating na taon. Ito na rin ang pinakakomplikado sigurong piraso ng lehislasyon na ipapasa ng Kongreso kumpara sa mga ibang lehislasyon na pinasa natin sa mga nagdaang panahon. Komplikado dahil mahaba, malaking mga halaga ang pinag-uusapan, detalyado kung saan ilalagay ang pondo at kaban ng bayan sa iba't ibang proyekto para sa iba't ibang sektor at para sa iba't ibang parte ng ating bansa. Mahaba o komplikado man, trabahong dapat gampanan ng Kongreso at ginagampanan kada taon. Aming sinabi, bubuksan namin palagi ito sa parte ng Senado at sa parte ng Kamara upang busisiin at makita ng taong bayan kung paano nga ba ito ginagawa. Hiling namin dun sa mga interesado talaga na maging matyaga na tingnan at suriin ang mga datos. Hindi birong basahin yung 5 volume ng budget para sa parte ng mga chairman at vice chairman na nagbalangkas ng mga bersyon ng Kamara at ng Senado. Pero sa panig ng Bicameral Conference Committee, mas komplikado yun. Dahil kailangan nilang pagtugmain yung magkakaibang mga halaga na nilagay, nilipat at kinuha mula sa iba't ibang item sa panukalang budget na isinumite ng executive branch. Mahaba at komplikado man, inaasahan ko na sa takdang panahon pa rin sa darating na linggo, bago tayo mag-adjourn para sa Christmas break, ito'y matatapos, mapagtitibay na magkabilang conference panel at maibibigay sa Pangulo bago magpasko para kanyang ma-review at mapagtibay ito bago pumasok ang darating na taon. Hopefully, we will be able to perform our job within the prescribed time, within this year, so that when we start, come January 1, 2025, we would have had already an approved budget that the Filipino people can rely on and hopefully aspire to see in the next coming months, in the coming year. Bago ako magtapos, nais ko muling pasalamatan ang mga miyembro ng Senado sa trabahong pinakita nila sa mga nagdaang linggo para mapasa namin ito. At gayon din, ang aming mga kasamahan sa Kamara sa mas mahabang oras na ginugol nila dahil mas marami kayo para mapagtibay ito sa parte at panig naman ng Kamara. And we look forward to a genuine and fruitful working relationship with the House as we try to iron out the differences between the disagreeing provisions of the Senate and the House versions of the budget. Maraming salamat, Madam Chairman. Maraming salamat, Ginoong Speaker.
Thank you. With the closing remarks, on the part of the Senate, this Bicameral Conference Committee meeting is hereby suspended.
Mr. Chair, I move to suspend the meeting.
It has been moved and seconded. The motion is approved. On the part of the House, this Bicameral Conference Committee is suspended.
Speaker, hingi lang po kami ng comment, sir, on the recent developments and the impeachment po.
Sa isa ng impeachment.
Ha? No. Wala pa so far. Tingnan natin kung ano mangyayari.
Sa investigation ng quad.
Ano?
Nag-ugat daw sa investigation ng quad.
Hindi ako naniniwala doon.
Sir, papayag ba kayo na pataasan po yung budget ng OVP po from 733 million dito po sa Bicam?
Ay, nagsalita na po kami. Meron na po kaming position eh.
That you will not allow it, sir?
Na ano?
That you will not allow it po na madagdagan, sir?
I don't